sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so Bucks fans, you follow the Bucks, and you're probably thinking, what is going on?
Yeah, this is big news.
What's going on with Bobby Portis?
Yeah, so we're going to dive into this NBA.com article that just dropped today.
Yeah, it's a news article.
It's a news article, and it says that Bobby Portis is going to be suspended for 25 games due to a violation of the anti-drug program.
25 games, man. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of the season.
I mean, like, until April, right?
Yeah, we're talking, almost a third of the season.
Yeah, so it's a serious thing, and people might be thinking 25 games for what, but it's not what you think.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this is that it wasn't like intentional doping or anything like that.
It was an accident, right?
It was a mistake with a painkiller.
Yeah, so can you kind of give us some background on what happened here?
Yeah, so the drug that he tested positive for is called Tramadol.
Okay.
And Tramadol is a painkiller. It's an opioid painkiller.
It's banned by the NBA?
Yes.
Like, why is that banned?
So the NBA has a very strict anti-drug policy.
Okay.
And it covers a lot of different substances.
Okay.
Obviously, like performance-enhancing drugs are banned, steroids, things like that.
Yeah.
But they also ban drugs that they deem to be harmful to players' health.
So things that could be addictive.
Things that could be addictive, things that could have, long-term side effects.
Like damage to the body.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And so Tramadol falls into that category.
Okay.
It is an effective painkiller.
Yeah.
But it can also be very addictive.
Okay.
And it can have some pretty serious side effects.
Okay, so Bobby Portis was taking this.
Well, that's the thing.
But he thought it was something else.
Right. So his agent released a statement saying that Bobby thought he was taking Toradol.
Toradol, okay.
Which is another painkiller.
And that one's fine in the NBA.
Correct.
Okay, so like...
It is allowed.
It sounds kind of similar, like...
They do sound similar.
Toradol, Tramadol.
Yeah, and, you can imagine, like...
Especially if you're not, a doctor or a pharmacist.
Especially if you're not a medical professional, right? You got these 2 bottles of pills. They look similar.
You're in a hurry.
You're in a hurry. You're trying to get ready for a game.
Maybe the labels came off.
Yeah, the label was messed up or something. It's not hard to see how a mix-up could happen.
So it is possible that it was just an honest mistake.
That's what his agent is claiming.
Right.
And, we have to take that at face value for now.
So, okay, so the NBA bans Tramadol. They ban it because of, concerns about side effects, long-term health and all that.
Right.
But, like, what kind of side effects are we talking about?
So Tramadol, like I said, it's an opioid painkiller.
Yeah.
And so it can have some of the same side effects as other opioids.
So, like addiction, that's a big one?
Addiction is a big one, yeah. It can be very addictive.
Okay.
It can also cause drowsiness, dizziness, nausea, constipation.
If you're an athlete, that doesn't sound good.
Not good if you're trying to perform at a high level.
Yeah.
And then in more serious cases, it can even cause respiratory depression, which is basically where your breathing slows down.
Wow.
Which obviously can be very dangerous.
So it sounds like the NBA is trying to, they're not trying to be mean or anything. They're trying to protect the players.
I think that's a big part of it, yeah.
Like, you don't want players out there, taking these strong painkillers and maybe making their injuries worse.
Exactly.
Or, getting addicted.
Yeah, it's a player safety issue, and it's also, a liability issue for the league.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, if they were to allow players to use Tramadol and then a player got seriously injured or, had some kind of long-term health problem because of it.
They could get sued?
They could be held liable.
Yeah, okay, so I see why the NBA has this rule, but then you have a situation like this where it seems like it was an accident.
Right.
It seems like he didn't mean to do it.
Right, and so that's where it gets really tricky.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, you have the rule, and the rule is there for a reason.
Right.
But on the other hand, you have this player who made a mistake.
And it wasn't intentional.
So
what do you do?
It's a tough call.
So, okay, so now Bobby Portis is out for 25 games. What does that mean for the Bucks?
I mean, that's a huge loss for them.
Yeah, he's having a really good season last year.
He was averaging like almost 14 points a game.
Yeah, and like 8 rebounds.
Over 8 rebounds a game. Yeah, he was a key part of their team.
Yeah, he was like a really important role player for them.
Absolutely.
So they're going to have to find someone else to fill that role.
They're going to have to find somebody to step up.
Which, I mean, that's not easy.
It's not easy to replace that kind of production, especially mid-season.
Yeah.
When you haven't had time to plan for it.
Yeah. And, we got to think about Bobby Portis, too. Like, this has got to be tough for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
His agent's statement said that he's really disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves playing in Milwaukee. He's a big part of the community.
He's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
And, he's having a good season. He was contributing to a winning team.
He wants to be out there.
He wants to be out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's got to be tough for him to be sidelined like this.
This whole situation, I don't know, it just kind of makes you think.
Yeah.
Like, on the one hand, I get why the NBA has these rules.
Mm-hmm.
They got to protect the players. They got to keep the game fair.
Right.
But on the other hand, like,
it's not always black and white.
it's not always black and white,
There are gray areas.
There are gray areas, and this seems like one of those gray areas.
Yeah. I mean, where do you draw the line?
Right. Like, is it fair for a team to lose a player for 25 games because of an honest mistake?
Because of a mix-up?
Yeah.
That's a tough question.
I mean, would you want that to happen to your favorite team?
Like if your team was in the playoffs
Yeah.
and they lost a key player because of something like this,
Yeah. How would you feel about that?
it would be frustrating.
Yeah, I think it would be.
You'd feel like it wasn't a level playing field.
Yeah. And I don't know what the answer is.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one, but it's something to think about.
Definitely.
What happens now?
Well, Bobby Portis is going to serve his suspension.
25 games.
25 games, yeah.
The Bucks are going to have to figure out how to play without him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he comes back,
When he comes back, can he regain his form?
can he get back to where he was?
Will he be the same player?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see.
It's a tough situation for everyone involved.
It is.
And, it just goes to show that even in a game like basketball,
Mm-hmm.
there's more to it than just what happens on the court.
There's a lot more to it.
There's a human side to it, too.
Absolutely.
And sometimes those two sides collide.
And that's where it gets complicated.
Yeah. So what do you think, how should fans be thinking about this?
I think it's important to remember that everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And Bobby Portis is no different.
Yeah.
And so, I think we should try to be understanding.
Yeah.
And, hopefully he'll learn from this.
Yeah.
And come back stronger.
And the Bucks will figure it out.
Hopefully.
Well, thanks for breaking all that down for us.
Yeah, no problem.
And to all you Bucks fans out there, hang in there.
It's a long season.
Yeah, it's a long season and, anything can happen.
That's right.
We'll see what happened.
We'll be watching.
All right, we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Bobby doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.